Welcome to the Driveway Beers podcast with Mike and Alex. Thank you for joining us, and we hope you enjoy the show. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share on any platform that you're listening on. All right, welcome back to another show. We're essentially going to use this week's show to talk about stuff we didn't get to last week because we got so in depth with Twitter files and going off on politics and all that fun stuff. Promise we will not do that this time. We are going to stick to weight loss and stuff that we've learned, and we do have quite a few updates as far as our own weight loss goes, the treatment plans that we've been expanding on. Before we get to that, though, if you need a VPN, go to privateinternetaccess.com/drivewaybeers. Go ahead and click on that. 2 years, $55 for 2 years. Easy to use app, and quite frankly, it'll. I know we said to use one over the holidays, but if you were using one over the holidays, you might as well use one now to protect your credit card information while you're shopping online. Because let's face facts, we're all still doing that. Although luckily my bank account's been saved because I haven't bought anything since we came into January, even though it's only like the early part of the month. But hey, as of right now, though, I haven't bought anything, so my credit card information hopefully is still safe until Amazon gets breached, and then none of our stuff is safe. But anyway, beside the point, get private internet access. You can go to drivewaybeers.com, click on our link there for private internet access, or go to privateinternetaccess.com/drivewaybeers. All right. So for weight loss, I don't even really know where we left off. Last time we recorded, I think I had just started. Mm-hmm. I had met with the new doctor. I now have what looks like almost the full plan. There's still 2 more things we're going to test for. But I have seen some results. And we'll get into that in a little bit. You've also got some additional information. Your plan's starting to come together a little bit too.
And see, because we're kind of doing this different ways. You're using the naturopath kind of guy, and
so he does listen to the show, by the way.
Oh, sorry, sir.
Yeah, he told me specifically that he is not a naturopath.
Okay.
But he does look at the body holistically,
the way it should be.
Yeah, so I mean, he looks at your vitamin deficiencies. He looks at your hormonal deficiencies. He looks at more than just, well, what are your symptoms, and
throw pills at it,
right? And maybe throw some prescriptions.
And I'm going through like the traditional internist, but I'm not really. And she's great. I really like my primary care, but it's still more the traditional model. But she spends more time than like the 7 minutes that your doctor at one of these like factory practices will. But we didn't go that deep. Maybe if I asked her, she would.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's definitely it. And I think the way your provider's doing it is the better way. I think there's a big problem that when it's not healthcare, it's sick care.
Right.
We're just throwing pills at people without regard for what the pills, how they interact, or what they are, and they're chemicals.
Right.
So,
and for me, I said this from the beginning. Before I started any new plan, I wanted to get my insides right as far as my body chemistry goes. I wanted to make sure I wasn't deficient in anything, or I didn't want anything inside of me preventing me from losing the weight.
Well, and it's a smart way to go, because it's almost like if you have a leaf blower and you're blowing leaves against the wind. Like, that leaf blower is working hard and it's moving leaves, but they're blowing right back.
Yeah.
The second they leave the jet stream of that leaf blower, they're coming right back at you.
Yep.
So it's nice to at least know which direction the wind's coming from and blow your leaves in that direction.
Right. And through the blood work that we've done so far, he's noticed that my body probably will not process carbohydrates well. So he's trying to get me all the way down into a keto diet. Now, I was someone who ate a ton of carbs. Like bread every time. Like bread, pretzels, pizza, you name it. I was loving it.
All the good stuff.
Yeah. over the last 2 weeks, and I started weighing myself on December 22nd. I ate normally for 1 week just so he could see what I normally eat like. And then the last week, so this is Thursday, so it was last Thursday to Thursday, I started cutting my carbs as much as I could, upping the protein, upping the fat. I don't know if I'll be able to ever do full keto just because of how much stuff has carbs. Now, that being said, I know people do it, right? I'm just saying for me, I don't know if I can get that low, but I'm trying.
I know people that have dropped a ton of weight doing keto. And there's some other... I've mentioned his name before. His name's Andrew Huberman. He runs a podcast called Huberman Labs. And he really nerds out to stuff in the body, anything that has to do with your body. And he interviewed a psychiatrist about the keto diet for mental health. Mm-hmm. And he had patients who, through going on the ketogenic diet, we're talking people with affective schizophrenia, big time, wrapping their heads in tinfoil, throwing flour against the wall so the rays don't come in, can't live a normal life.
Yep.
And through the ketogenic diet was able to mitigate all of those symptoms from their mental health condition.
Yeah.
And it was actually developed to treat epilepsy. People that would go into have epileptic seizures. And it worked there. It's very old. This isn't new stuff. So,
yeah. And I think right now I'm saying I don't think I can get down and do keto fully right now. But I'm also only 1 week into it.
Yeah.
Once I've kind of figured out how to get my carbs low, maybe I'll figure out how to get them even lower.
Well, yeah.
And so it's kind of like practice makes perfect, right?
Right. And also easing yourself into it.
Right.
If you just go and shock the system and all of a sudden you're like, wow, this sucks. I really want to eat a sandwich, which any normal person was going to eat with no problem.
Yeah.
And you're saying, nope, no carbs from day one. That's a big test of willpower. But if you start easing into it and say, okay, you know what? I'm going to eliminate anything that comes out of a bag that's salty and crunchy, which are all the best foods.
Yeah.
I'm going to start there.
Yeah. But
you still eat bread and some pasta and stuff like that. And then the next week, you just kind of go a little bit further. You ease yourself into it.
Yeah.
You might have better success.
Yeah, and unfortunately for me, the one area where I have had carbs I didn't realize that rice noodles and rice have carbs, and they do.
Are carbs.
Yeah, it's all carbs. I didn't realize that. For whatever reason, I thought only pasta was carbs, right?
Yeah.
But I was wrong, but I also realized look, and this is where I'm not able to get that low yet, because maybe once a week I'm gonna have a cup of rice. Mm-hmm. Because my kids eat it, right? I don't want to make 2 meals. I can modify them though.
So I made 2 meals today. I made spaghetti and meatballs for my wife and the kids because my middle had swim practice, and then I had steak and asparagus. So
for me, what I would do is I would make the spaghetti and meatballs for the kids and the wife, and I would just eat the meatballs.
Yeah,
but I'd eat a ton of them.
Oh yeah,
because they're all protein.
But then if you get the prepackaged ones,
you
gotta be careful because sugar and carbs sneak in there.
Right. Yeah.
In fact, the ones I gave the kids, one of the ingredients is high fructose corn syrup. What the F is high fructose corn syrup doing in a meatball?
That's one of the worst sugars you can get.
Oh, yeah.
I heard and it's coming out more recently. There was a whole push years ago about high fructose corn syrup, and then they put that lobby push back and said, well, sugar is sugar. Mm-hmm. But it's not.
Yeah.
Raw cane sugar or, regular sugar is still better than high fructose corn syrup for you. There is a difference. And so I'm trying to stay away from the packaged snacks that contain any of that.
Yeah.
For example, a salty and sweet that you like. Mm-hmm. So I am also a salty and sweet fan. Love Chex Mix, right? That's one of my favorites. We were at Costco, and they had something called the Keto Mix. And the Keto Mix was essentially a whole bunch of different kind of nuts. Okay. Salted nuts, though. Mm-hmm. And they're crunchy because they're nuts.
Yeah.
Like, there's macadamia nuts, there's walnuts, there's some nuts I don't even know the names of.
It reminds me of that stupid joke.
What?
What do you call nuts on a wall? Walnuts. What do you call nuts in a chest?
Chestnuts. Oh, God.
What do you call nuts on your chin? And we'll just leave it there. You guys know the punchline. Sorry. We went back to 7th grade.
Yes. Anyway, so I found a salty sweet snack that I could have in the middle of the day. For lunches, I'm a huge sandwich guy. I love sandwiches. Mm-hmm. But I got rid of the bread. And so basically I went and got some roast beef, deli roast beef. Mm-hmm. Actually got 2 different kinds to see if I liked one, like Dietz and Watson versus Kretschmar.
Okay.
Oddly enough, I like the Kretschmar one more.
Okay. Well, that's what the local supermarket sells. So.
Yep. Well, they also sell the Dietz and Watson. That's why I got them both at the same time. Anyway, so basically I had, I think, 8 ounces of roast beef, 2 slices of Land O'Lakes cheese, not the processed cheese.
Right.
Which I'm supposed to stay away from dairy too, but I think that's going to be a little bit harder to do for me. But anyway, and I had some of that keto mix with a whole bunch of nuts to it, and it was basically a carb-free lunch. Mm-hmm. And 8 ounces of meat. I mean, look, I'm a hefty dude, but 8 ounces of meat is a lot of meat.
So protein satiates you.
And I've heard that. Yeah, you get more full on it.
Yeah. So one of the tricks I did or have done in the past was I did it when I was doing when I was trying out intermittent fasting. I might go back to that. I need to stop bouncing all over the place and kind of stick with one thing for a while, and then not be like, oh, today's my cheat day, which turns into like my cheat month. But like when you get back, like say you're starving. Oh, I got it. First of all, none of us are actually starving. A human being can go 30 days without food and live. We can probably go more. So, but you're like hungry, you want to eat something. I would come home from work and just hit the fun cabinet, which is where we keep all the stuff the kids like, and just start crushing snacks, right? Whatever was in there, oatmeal cream pies, potato chips, pretzels, whatever was in there was fair game. I was going to eat it. But come home, I'd scramble up 3 eggs, cook 3 eggs, eat that, protein, it's satiating. So anything you get some protein, it's almost like it gives your gut something to chew on.
Yeah.
Rather than just a carb, which just goes right to the bloodstream. So yeah, that's probably what you're seeing is that you had that, and I don't know the physiology and all, of it, but you know, when you get to that, rather than just mindlessly eating snacks, also 8 ounces of meat, like you have to get it out. It's not the food has some breaks on it. Potato chips have no breaks. The breaks are when the bag's empty.
Right.
I'm not going to eat half a bag. Well, I'm going to have 3 chips. No, I'm eating the whole bag.
Right. No, I put the 8 ounces of meat on a plate. The 2 pieces of cheese were on a plate. Mm-hmm. I did bring the bag of the nuts down.
Yeah.
But one of the things I was surprised about was how quick I got full. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I'm just not hungry anymore.
Yeah.
To eat these nuts. Like, one, I'm not a huge fan of nuts to begin with. Mm-hmm. So it's not like a guilty pleasure kind of food for me. So when I felt full, I was done.
Yeah.
But for the mornings, I had to make another adjustment. So no sandwiches in the afternoon, just went with the meat. Also, in our freezer, we have these Jimmy Dean Delight breakfast sandwiches. Mm-hmm. And they've got the English muffin.
Okay. We have the croissant version.
Yeah, okay. I normally do like the croissant version, but my daughter does not. So we get the English muffin version for her.
For the terrorist.
Yep. And so my first couple of days of charting what I was eating, I noticed that they had a lot of carbs to them. So what I did, I literally took the tops off. The top English muffin off. I put it in the microwave, heated it up. When I pulled it out, I took the bottom one off just because you can't heat it on, like, I didn't want the sausage on the plate for some reason when it was heating up, but I don't know. I didn't know if it had something to do with how it heats up. Figured maybe the English muffin played a role in it. I don't know. I'm probably stupid. But when I pulled it out of the microwave, took the other half of the English muffin, tossed that in the garbage. So both halves in the garbage. Now I got a turkey sausage patty, one egg white, and a slice of cheese. And I got 2 of them. It was surprisingly still good. And so I ate that.
Yeah, I'm surprised it was good because it was turkey sausage.
I like turkey sausage. But here, you got to remember, I don't get a lot of red meat in this house.
Yeah.
Because I also have another terrorist. That's my wife. As far as the red meat goes. Like, I have to wait until, like, she has, like, a girls' night for me to have, like, meat with the girls. Although I did cook lamb the other day. That was another thing. I roasted a leg of lamb because it was on sale at Costco. It was a 5-pound leg of lamb for $25. Roasted it, cut it up, had it in the fridge. So now I got lamb for a snack. So I was doing things like that to try and, like, I was consciously trying to cut carbs. And one of the things I realized was I wasn't hungry.
Yeah.
I was surprised at that. I thought I was going to be super hungry. I still do get a craving. Like, if I see bread, I really want it.
Yeah.
But you and I had talked about this before, where something in my mind has changed. Whereas before, I would just say, screw it and eat the bread.
Yeah.
This time around, and granted, it's only been 2 weeks. I'm not saying I'm not going to break at some point,
right.
but I've felt like I've been very good at saying no to the bread or removing the bread from things that I ate with it once, like those sandwiches.
Yeah.
And then today what I did was when I was at the grocery store, I got those Jimmy Dean turkey sausage patties by themselves. We already have eggs in the house, and I had bought that cheese. So I'm just going to make my own version of it.
Yeah.
Except I'm going to keep the yolks in.
Right.
So it's not going to be egg white. It'll be basically 2 fried eggs, 2 pieces of cheese, and 2 pieces of turkey sausage.
Yeah. Well, and the yolk, I mean, people say, oh, there's cholesterol.
My cholesterol's fine.
Yeah,
I'm not worried about that. What is it? A couple, like 20, 30 calories to the egg, maybe.
Yeah. And if you're doing noom, an egg with a yolk in it is rated different than an egg white. Whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
we're not, at this point.
You're splitting hairs.
Right.
So what I decided to do was I'm only eating food that has one ingredient in it. I will combine a bunch of these one ingredient foods together to make one meal. I'm not going to say, I'm just going to eat green peppers today. So I do this ground beef thing. I used to get ground turkey. There's really no benefit to ground turkey. I think the beef tastes better.
I think the calories are almost the same.
Yeah.
The only thing different is that you can't get ground turkey with a higher fat content.
Yeah.
It's always 97.3.
Yeah. And the thing is, I'm not afraid of fat. Excuse me.
No, you should. In keto, you're not supposed to be.
Yeah. I'm not I'd rather have calories than chemicals.
Right.
That's my thing.
Yep.
So what I did is I make this ground beef. I put garlic, onions, green pepper, and then the first batch I made, I used kefta seasoning. The second batch I made, I used harissa seasoning that I had. So brought up the ground beef, remove it, saute the vegetables, and then combine it all back together. Season it up. I put it in a big container, and I just eat off of it. It gives me like 3 lunches.
Now, so are you measuring what you're eating though and counting the calories or no?
No, because when I did Whole30 and I had so much success with that, I didn't measure anything. Okay. I ate as much of this stuff as I wanted, and I still dropped a ton of weight. So I'm not strict Whole30. I did make my own Greek salad dressing, came out great. But what I've been doing is, so I'm eating these one ingredient foods. Now, if I get so like sauerkraut's really good for you. So I bought a jar of sauerkraut from the store, and the ingredients are, cabbage, salt, and water. I'll take that. You know what I mean? That's, cabbage, salt, those are...
It's vinegar too, right?
No. it gets. I don't think so.
Really?
Maybe it is.
Oh, I didn't think there was water.
No,
Oh, it's
this is cabbage and salt. Like that's the ingredients. I think the fermentation happens when they make the sauerkraut.
Okay.
I think that's where that comes from.
I don't know why I thought there was vinegar in it. I do love some sauerkraut.
Oh, I
though.
do. So
A hot dog with sauerkraut?
Dude, get the jar of sauerkraut and I eat it directly out of the jar with a spoon.
Yeah.
Nobody in my house likes it, so
It's delicious.
yeah.
It's delicious.
Cold, right out of the
awesome.
refrigerator.
I highly recommend it.
So the thing is with these one ingredient foods is that I'm not getting, like, if I look at it, I've eaten nothing out of a box. So there's no like poly this, mono that, sulfates, sulfides, all these ingredients you see in foods, high fructose corn syrup, all this nonsense I'm not getting.
Yeah.
So I started doing this on Monday, and day one, so I used to have very bad heartburn. It would wake me up at night. It was so bad to the point where there were sometimes it would wake me up where I'd actually aspirated some of the fluid.
I've had it come up on me.
And that, I'd startle myself up out of bed.
It burns.
And it burns. I mean, it's awful.
Yeah. You can't get the taste out of your mouth for hours.
I would drink, so before I went to bed, I'd take 3 or 4 Tums, and then it would wake me up in the middle. I'd take 3 or 4 more just to settle it down. I probably should have gotten some Nexium or one of those things.
I'm on Protonics.
But since I started doing this, gone. It's instantly gone.
Yep.
And it's, the thing is when you look at the ingredients they're putting in food, it's poison. It's chemicals. Right. It's not stuff that should be in your body. But we put it in there. It's preservatives. It's to increase shelf life. It's to lessen the cost of production on the line to make profits higher. So when you eliminate that, and I'm not going grass-fed organic. I'm not to that point.
It's too expensive.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
Especially if you ever look at the cost between regular chicken and organic chicken.
Yeah.
It's like triple the price.
Yeah, I don't care about... Okay, so my chicken got roids, bro. Like...
Well, not only that, but they cleanse it in chlorine.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Like, that knives over forks, or forks over knives, they kind of go into that a little bit. Regardless, I mean, it's too... Look, there's some... You're only going to be able to go so far, right?
Right.
But anyway, go ahead.
If money was no option, sure, I'd get the organic.
Money's an option.
Yeah, money is a consideration.
We're not fooling ourselves.
Yeah. So I bought the 5-pound lob of ground beef from Sam's Club. It's not organic. It's not Wagyu beef or whatever the hell that stuff is. It's just regular ground beef. But it's better than eating crap out of a box.
Yep.
So one of my keys has been prepping stuff. And then also, so the other day I make these, I call them steak fajita bowls. So we serve them with rice. I just didn't eat the rice. Yep. So I just had the steak and the vegetables that went with it. That was fine. I didn't need the rice.
I mean, it sounds like you're almost keto. It's almost like a keto thing.
It's keto, paleo type. Pretty much it's just don't eat garbage.
Right.
It's kind of my mission. And I'm not doing it necessarily for weight loss. I'm doing it for health.
But at the same time, though, I mean, part of the health at this point is dropping the weight.
Absolutely.
I mean,
but to have that immediate result of the reflux gone, which means I'm sleeping better, it's funny because you start these things, you're like, okay, we want instant gratification. It actually provided some instant gratification to me, which was it was such a nice reward. I said, wait, I didn't wake up choking on my own vomit last night.
Yeah. It's
essentially what you're doing. So it's really been a motivator to keep going. Like, I feel better eating this way, so let's keep doing it.
Yeah. One of my instant gratification things, and it's not the reflux, I still have it. And maybe it'll go away as I get smaller, but oddly enough, my poops got more normal, I guess is the best word.
It wasn't bowl blaster.
Well, not just that. I mean, for me, it's a roller coaster ride of what's going to come, right? I don't know what's coming because it's a roller coaster in the dark for the most part. Yeah, so I didn't
Space Mountain.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, I didn't know if it was going to be an explosion or if I was going to have to pop a blood vessel in my neck to get it out, right? in the last week, without all the carbs, just been nice and easy going.
Yeah.
Not super liquidy, not super tough. Mm-hmm. So that's been a pleasant surprise, especially for me because I've always had gut issues.
Yeah.
Now I do take meds for that though. Mm-hmm. I'll be interested to see how that is moving forward though. If it kind of regulates even more. But the other result, and we'll get to this later, was my weight.
Okay.
I'm not going to say whether it went up or down, but there were results one way or the other.
Yeah.
And I thought that was another interesting thing, especially because I'll be interested to see what it is at the end of the month, considering where it went.
Yeah.
And it was not linear. Now, that's what's one thing I got to remember about this whole thing. It will not be linear. No. It is not going to be up all the time or down all the time. There will be some jagged edges in this thing. But moving on to some other things that we've been doing. Today I got my first shot of testosterone.
Okay.
It was, I'm going to butcher the name of this. It's testosterone cypionate.
Yep.
CYPIONATE. 200 milligrams.
Oh, okay. You got the nice.
Is that a lot? He said, my doctor said it was the normal one.
Dude, I do 50 a week.
Oh, so this is 200 every 2 weeks.
Okay, so you're twice what I'm at. So,
I mean, I was super low though.
Yeah.
Like I was low out of
you
range.
You were off
low.
the range?
Yeah.
I was 16 points above the range.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Like I'm not, like I told him, I was like, I don't want to like make it so I'm super high. I just want to get myself in the middle of the range.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, the price on it. So they didn't run it through insurance. They said they would give me a receipt if I wanted to run it through. And I said, well, how much is this?
It's not expensive.
So it's $50.
Yeah.
I was like, I ain't gonna bother.
Yeah.
I'm not bothering putting that through insurance.
Yeah. Yeah, because mine, the pharmacist, first of all, there's a whole big mess between the doctor's office and the pharmacy. And I waited weeks after I dropped the script off. And they said, well, it can be, that finally cleared up. I got a text from the doctor saying, you get this text that says verify your medication or whatever. As soon as I got it, I went right over to the pharmacist, and they were a huge help. It wasn't CVS. It was a small local pharmacy.
Right.
And they said, well, there's a delay because we have to get to put it through for a PA, a prior authorization.
Yep.
I'm like, oh, what? How long is that going to take? They said, well, it usually takes a couple days. I said, she said, but I said, yeah, with this office, who knows? I said, how much is it out of pocket? She goes, oh, it's $60 for 6 weeks.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, here's the card.
Right.
Like, I'm not messing with them.
No.
So, and so I just took my 4th dose yesterday.
So you're at 4 weeks then.
Yeah. Now
So
everyone
you should be starting to feel the effects of it.
Yeah, everyone's telling me that about 6 weeks you really start to feel the effects.
Yep.
What I can tell you, and I'm not because you just got it today.
Yep.
The first time I got it, I immediately started sleeping better. I slept a lot better.
I could use that. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah. In fact, a wife of a friend of ours, we were talking at the pool, and she's in the medical profession, and I just happened to mention to her that I was sleeping like crap. She goes, get your testosterone checked.
Yeah.
And I kind of just deposited that. And then when I started sleeping better, I was like, oh, wait, she told me to get my testosterone checked.
Right.
And it, so I noticed that right away. So I hope you get the same.
I hope so. I could use it.
Yeah.
So, okay, so low carb diet, testosterone injections every 2 weeks. The other thing, and I mentioned this before, I'm on 10,000 IUs a day of vitamin D.
Okay.
I was extremely deficient with vitamin D. Multiple pills of vitamin B12. or basically a B vitamin. It's like B2, B12, and something else. It's like, what's that game? Battleship?
Okay,
Like, I got all the B's, basically. The whole row of B's.
Yeah.
Someone's going to sink my battleship. And then the diet of... So my calories right now, I started at 2520.
Okay.
I lowered them down to 2369 because I wanted to lose the weight a little bit faster.
Okay.
So instead of doing like 3 pounds per... It was telling me like 3 pounds per month, which I don't know if the app is right. But so at 2369 put me at 5 pounds per month. So it almost doubles the weight loss.
Yeah.
But anyway, the carbs between 59 grams. It's supposed to be between... Originally, the app had me at 34 to 59 grams.
Mm-hmm.
When I adjusted some things, it's now 85 grams.
Okay.
But I'm going to try and stay around 59. Because from what I understand, by reading online, a ketogenic diet is supposed to be 59 and under.
Okay.
So even at 59, it almost doubles the carbs I was originally supposed to have, which still isn't a lot. Protein, I'm supposed to be at 284 grams, and fat at 100 grams.
Mm-hmm.
My water intake, my goal is 90 ounces of water. Now, we had talked about it. A gallon, I believe, is 123 or 124 ounces.
128.
128.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try and get to 120. The reason why is because I basically drink out of the... it's a 30-ounce cup, which is just easy for me to keep track of. So I don't have to measure.
Yeah.
I know this cup is 30 ounces, and I can drink from it all the time.
Yeah.
So I need to try and... Like, today I got my 90 ounces in. Mm-hmm. I would like to try and get 120 in. But right now, I'm just not getting there.
Yeah. I bought one of these giant jugs, gallon jug of water. It's got, I mean, you can get different ones. The one I have, and too bad we don't have cameras, but to describe it, it's this big plastic jug with a handle, and then it has a straw, and then on one side of it, it has times marked off.
Yep. So
if you drink that amount throughout the day, you'll get to a gallon. And it's, let's see, it's so it's eight lines. So essentially it's a pint every 2 hours, which isn't really that's manageable if you think about it.
It is.
I refilled this already today. So I've been doing, I got my gallon in. And I always found that when I'm hydrated, I feel better. So
let me ask you, with the amount of water you're drinking, do you get up in the middle of the night to pee?
I always do anyway.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah.
So I didn't really do that before.
Yeah, and it's not so much that I get woken up because I have to pee.
Yeah.
I'll roll over and wake up, and I'm like, I might as well go pee.
Bro, I'm kind of the same way. So like I roll over, I'm like, man, I gotta pee. Like if I was asleep, it wouldn't wake me up.
Right.
But because I'm like rolling over to get more comfortable.
Yeah.
In the middle of the night, I'm like, oh, I gotta pee. So I get up and I go pee. And lately, it's been like twice a night. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm hoping that as my body gets used to drinking this much water, that number will go down back to zero. I'm hoping it goes back to zero.
Well, one of the interesting things that I've read is that it's not how much water you drink throughout the day. It's the speed and the volume at which you consume it within your approach to bed.
So I drink quickly.
So don't chug a bunch of water.
Okay.
Before you go to bed.
Gotcha.
Consume, if you just, like, this goofy thing is kind of gimmicky and broken up throughout the day. It has a motivational, like, give it a try, tons of energy, keep chugging, and then, like, at the end, it's like, you slayed it. Like, I want to get there, so the bottle told me I slayed it.
That's the ladies' version, that with all the motivational speaking on it?
Yeah, it's also, now I have a big Arctic one that's, like, the insulated aluminum. Yeah. That thing will stay cold forever. Ice will last it for like 3 days. But this one, it's if you do it the way they tell you to do it, you're not chugging it. Right. So one of my buddies at work was like, hey man, you're late, you got to catch up. So like, I was at like 7 a.m. and it was 11, so I essentially chugged a quart of water, and I had to pee like a racehorse,
Right.
because I went down. So it was the volume and the speed at which I drank it. So that's something to consider.
And so 2 more things that I got to do with this doctor. We're going to do a glucose tolerance test. And that checks how the insulin in your body reacts to carbohydrates. I don't know exactly what that tells him.
Yeah.
Outside of that, I'm sure there's something that he might want to tweak after that test. But that test, you have to go in, you have to drink this sugary drink, and then you have to stay in the office for 3 hours, and they take your blood every hour.
I think my wife had to do that when she was pregnant.
Probably.
She went to all kinds of crazy tests.
Mine too. The doctor I believe they both went to passed away. Dr. Sweeney.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He died a few years ago. That guy, he was like the go-to guy for
fertility.
Not fertility. It's at-risk pregnancies.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. He's not part of Shady Grove.
No.
But we really had the easy part of that deal. Us men.
I know.
We have sex a lot.
Gotta hold hands. The other thing we're doing a stool sample, which
that should be fun.
That's gonna be great. For pancreatic insufficiency. And I think I Googled it. What did I do here? So what is pancreatic insufficiency? Pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI, is a condition which occurs when the pancreas does not make enough of a specific enzyme the body uses to digest food in the small intestine. So because I do have intestinal issues, I do have IBS. I got the diarrhea kind, which makes you poop a little bit more than I should. I think he's checking for more things there. And I go to a gastro doctor as well. And we've done a lot of checking now. He's going a lot more granular with his checking. And I'm like, look, if you want to check, let's check.
Yeah.
I mean, if you unearth something that we've been looking that we haven't seen in 20 years, that I've been going to a GI doctor, great. So those are the last 2 tests I need to do. So other than that, though, that's a lot. I mean, you're talking complete change of diet to low to no carbs, testosterone, tons of vitamin D, B12 every day, and 90 ounces of water to 120. That seems like a lot of changes, right?
Yeah.
Luckily, the vitamin D and the vitamin B12, those are pills you take in the morning. Real easy to do. Testosterone once every 2 weeks. Also quite easy to do. Pop at the doctor's office. She sticks you with a needle. You go home.
Yeah.
Luckily, the eating part hasn't been too hard. Now, I'm not going to be that keto guy that's putting butter in his coffee.
That's actually pretty good.
I think it tastes like garbage.
Have you had it?
Yes.
No, I said, how have you had it?
Black coffee, butter in it.
You just put butter in it?
What are you supposed to do?
Put it in a blender.
Oh.
Dude, I'm telling you, it's actually really good.
Why would you want salt in your coffee? Isn't that what it is?
Well, you could buy unsalted butter.
Oh, you can't. Does it make it? I mean,
I switched over to black coffee.
Right.
But one of the things what I would do is if I ran out of half and half. So we have a blend jet.
Yeah.
I take the coffee out of the Keurig, dump it in the blend jet, take like half, not even half of a tablespoon of butter, drop it in there, screw the top on, blend it, it frosts it up a little bit, and blends that butter through it. Oh, dude, try it that way.
I mean, I haven't had coffee in like 3 days.
Yeah.
So I'm probably on the caffeine withdrawal.
Yeah.
But no, I'll try it.
Give it a shot.
Sounds gross.
It's good.
Right. I mean, I normally take it with like 2 tablespoons of half and half. That's my go-to.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can get away from that. There's no carbs in it doing it that way, but it is dairy, and
Actually,
the doc wants me off the dairy.
Yeah. Switch if you wanted to.
Isn't butter dairy?
It is.
See, I don't know. So I don't know how that's helping me.
Or use heavy cream. A lot of keto guys use heavy cream.
How's that different from half and half? What is it? Is half and half just half milk, half cream?
Yeah. So heavy cream is all cream.
Okay. What's creamer?
Chemicals.
Oh, all right. I don't use it. I'm trying to.
It's high fructose corn syrup and chemicals.
Ew, gross.
Yeah. Whenever I see those creamers like the International Delights, I'm
Right.
like, yeah. That's why I don't like getting coffee at Royal Farms because they don't have half and half. They just have the fake stuff.
Wawa has half and half.
Wawa also has light table cream, which is delicious.
Wow. All right then.
So if heavy cream is high test and half is like 87, light table cream that's like mid grade.
Okay.
Yeah.
Most people though consider mid grade waste of time and money.
That's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not in this case. We're not talking actual.
We're talking
gas.
about engines.
Okay.
And it says light, so you can say it's diet.
Anytime I can put word, look, it's diet.
Yeah, it says light right here.
Any other things that you're doing or you talk to your doctor about before we go into results?
So, no, the only thing that I did, and I didn't talk to my doctor about it, but she would agree, is I have not had any alcohol since New Year's Eve.
Okay.
So, look, I love my beer. Whether it's we've had our beer episodes that, I like foo beer, the heavy IPAs and all that crazy stuff. I'm also happy drinking Busch lattes and slaying Miller Lights.
Yep.
I like beer.
Yep.
What was it, Judge Kavanaugh? I like beer. But I do. However, when you have the tolerance that I have and just the size and the volume of alcohol that I can ingest, I mean, I could sit and drink 10 beers and talk to you just normally.
Right.
Which
I have seen.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's proof.
Yeah.
I can do it.
Fact.
Yeah. Drinking a 6-pack a night, not because I felt the need for a beer, just because, hey, I'm home, I'm cooking on the grill, pop a couple beers open here, there. Oh, the game's on, let me open another one. Oh, I'll have another. Well, say it's only 6. So let's use Miller Lite for just the example. That's 96 calories. It's almost, that's almost 600 calories in just liquid.
Yep.
Waste. It's like the definition of an empty calorie. There's absolutely no nutritional benefit.
They say don't drink your calories.
Yeah.
But I mean, the other part is beer has a bunch of carbs in it. Mm-hmm. And if you've got a body that can't process carbs,
yeah,
that's why I'd be surprised. I'd be interested to see if you were to go keto with this whole 30 type of thing, which you may be already doing. Mm-hmm. I'd be interested to see if you stay off the beer, if the weight drops off of you.
Yeah. I'd like to get some keto sticks. You pee on them and it tells you if you're in ketosis.
My wife told me about those.
Yeah.
I am going to get those.
Yeah.
I do want to try those out now because I don't think I'll ever be in ketosis, but I want to try it.
Yeah.
To know for sure. Now, one thing I did find out about alcohol is, 3 fingers of whiskey, I believe, has 130 calories.
Okay.
But there's no carbs in it. I swear I couldn't believe it. I was like, isn't like barley, rye, wheat
that a carb?
Right, but I guess through the pasteurization process or through whatever process it goes through to become whiskey, the gluten and the carbs are gone. Like they go away. So, I mean, I need to check on that. And look, if someone out there knows for sure, please leave a comment, either on YouTube or Apple Podcast. I don't care where you leave it. Leave us a comment. Let us know for sure.
Are they 3 of these fingers or like normal people fingers?
I mean, when we went out the other night, I got, for the first time, I didn't drink beer. I didn't drink soda. I'm not a big fan of soda to begin with, but I drink it when we go out because caffeine keeps me awake.
Yeah.
All right. So for the first time ever, I had Jameson Irish whiskey.
Okay. And
basically, I just asked for Irish. I asked for Jameson on the rocks, basically. Yeah. And I got a glass, and I mean, it looked like a 6-ounce glass. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, with the ice, and I'm assuming there were 3 fingers in it, so I'm assuming about 3 ounces.
Yeah.
Which is, I believe, is about 3 shots.
Mm-hmm.
Now, granted, it was like $16 for that drink, which I thought was crazy. But considering, I mean, I can get a whole bottle of whiskey for $30.
Right.
Right. But I was able to sip on that drink for the time we were there. I didn't order a second one. I probably got the same amount of warmth in my body as I would have with 3 or 4 beers. Mm-hmm. I probably would have felt 10 times as full.
Yeah.
And bloated.
Especially drinking heavy beers.
Right. Or in my case, it would have been Miller Lights.
Yeah.
But I still, like, the carbonation in it would have made me feel bloated.
Mm-hmm.
The only downfall to the liquor is you get a little burn in your throat. You get a little acid reflux from it.
Yeah.
But you can mitigate that. But, you know, you're talking about, if you had 3 Miller Lights, that's roughly 270 calories versus 120. Mm-hmm. So half the calories. And 1 drink, and I was good for the night.
Yeah.
You know, like, if I do a nightcap here, it's 1 drink.
Yeah.
You know, and it's probably not even 3 shots. That was probably a lot more than I would have poured myself.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm probably, if I have a drink at night, you know, if I use that Knob Creek upstairs, I mean, I'm feeling nice and toasty with 2 shots in it, maybe.
Yeah.
And I'm maybe drinking maybe 80 calories. And if I got 80 calories at night, and I want a little nightcap, and it doesn't have carbs and doesn't have gluten,
mm-hmm.
there's a drink for me. If you like your alcohol, that might be the way to go. Now, there are other detriments to alcohol, and I got to look into that.
Yeah, so Andrew Huberman, again, has a great podcast episode on alcohol. Mm-hmm. He goes to all the vices. So he does nicotine, alcohol, and THC. So he does all 3 of them.
Damn it.
Yeah.
And I like all 3.
He apologizes throughout his alcohol. He goes, I'm not telling people not to drink, but he also does caffeine.
Okay, oh boy, that's 4.
Yeah. So one of the effects of alcohol is the effect on your gut microbiome. And the bacteria, you know, alcohol is antiseptic.
Right.
So you pour that down in there, it's going to have a negative effect on those little guys in your gut that help make everything move.
Right.
I learned from that podcast there are 1 cell or cellular organisms in your gut than there are cells in your entire body.
Right.
So it's this huge like vessel of, you're like just a vessel of bacteria, but it all helps you live.
Right.
So when your gut microbiome gets messed up, it contributes to a lot of those. You know, I was wondering, like with you, especially with IBS,
Yeah.
if you were to address that or see about that, maybe that would help further on down the system.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I know. The unfortunate part is that whiskey was starting to become the new hobby, and beer was going out.
Yeah.
And look, I've got my vices. I am what I am. I'm going to try and lose the weight while having a nightcap every now and then.
Yeah.
Because I don't drink often.
Yeah, see, and you and I are different because I would drink like every day.
Right. No, I did not.
And a lot. And I say a lot, let me preface that. Like not a lot to the point where like I'm a stumbling around drunk alcoholic.
Right.
But just the volume that I could consume each night and still be normal and wake up the next day and not have any hangovers. I haven't had a hangover in forever.
Yeah.
It's one of the reasons I stay away from liquor.
Right.
Because now liquor will give me a hangover. But beer, generally, nope.
And for me, it's like I would drink 2 beers, maybe either every other weekend, possibly back-to-back weekends on occasion. The nightcaps, it's like maybe twice a week.
Yeah.
Just because it's I don't know what it is, but the act of sipping whiskey two nights a week, and it's not always too many. It might be 1 or 2. I never generally do more than 2, but
Yeah.
it is relaxing. It helps me sleep at night.
Yeah.
If I had to give it up, could I? Sure. Though there are other vices I probably wouldn't want to give up.
Yeah.
Like, I do like to smoke a cigar once a week, or actually once every other week. I wouldn't say it's once a week, especially in the wintertime when it's cold outside. I ain't going outside for that.
Yeah, that's a long time to be outside freezing.
Yeah, I mean, when the weather warms up in the wintertime, like we had like a 60 to 50, 60 degree day, sure, had one.
Yeah.
I'm not going out there when it's below 50. It's just not happening. But I probably wouldn't give up that habit. So I'm not giving up all the vices. Now, that being said, if it comes down to it and I had to, sure. If I'm not losing weight and that's the reason why, sure.
Yeah.
I'll drop it. But
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's not.
yeah, I'm almost positive me smoking a cigar twice a month.
Even if you're to say, oh, well, tobacco causes cancer, you're nowhere near, like, it would be one thing if you were smoking a pack of cigarettes a day.
I'm not smoking. Yeah, I'm not in. Yeah, let's not confuse this for what it is.
Yeah.
I'm not a daily smoker. I'm not smoking cigars every day. I'm not even smoking them once a week. So I think we can throw that out the window.
Yeah.
But let's go results. Do you want to go first? Or you want me to go first?
Mine are quick. I'll go first. All so I haven't weighed myself yet. So for a second time, so I can't tell you what the result of that is.
Did you get a starting weight though?
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
You want to share or no? You don't have to.
Not really.
All right. I'm putting it out there. I'm gonna put mine out there.
Okay. So I generally weigh myself on Fridays because that's the longest point between the last time I treated my body as a human trash compactor.
Got it.
So usually Friday is when, especially in the summertime, like happy hour at the pool, Saturday, Sunday, like I'm not trying to weigh myself on Monday. It's depressing. However, I did get my start weight on Monday, and it was depressing. So,
I hear you. Although, hey, look, happy hour at the pool. Switch to the three fingers.
Yeah.
Instead.
Yeah.
Anyway,
or just abstain.
Sure, you can.
Yeah.
What fun is that, though? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm a lot more fun. I'm a lot more charming and witty. But no, so my immediate result is sleeping better and the reflux gone.
Okay. You don't have a second weight to know whether you lost any.
I will tomorrow.
All right, so that'll have to come on the next
Yeah.
show. All right. So December 22nd was when I started. Now that was that week starting December 22nd. That was when I ate normally with carbs to show the doctor what I was eating. He, of course, said you're too high on carbs. Following week, I did less. So over the course of 2 weeks, and it wasn't straight up, it wasn't straight down, but it was a loss of 8.4 pounds.
Good stuff.
So I started off 349.2. I am currently at 340.8 as of this morning, which is January 3rd. So it's been exactly 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Is it water weight? Might be. Although, I think the first week I lost like 3.2 when I started drinking all the water.
Yeah.
Then the weight went back up a little bit. Went up a pound. Then it went down like a pound. Then
Are you weighing yourself every day?
No, I do it like twice a week.
Okay.
You know, I'll do it Thursdays and like Mondays. Just to see what the progress is going on.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, Thursdays and Sundays. That's what I'm doing. But then I feel like these last couple of days, I was really able to cut down the carbs. For example, in my tracking app here, and the good thing about it does tell me the carbs. Let's see. So for the week, like last Thursday, it was 185 carbs, right? Net carbs. That Friday, I got down to like 97, so cut even more. That Saturday, I got to 60. Then back up to like 95, then 93. And then that Tuesday, I got all the way down to 46.
Okay.
And then 50. And then today, I was at about just under 59. So I was able to go from like about 125 or whatever, or what was it, 140, 185. I was able to cut it down to about a third of that over the last probably 3 to 4 days. And I feel like that made a big enough difference where I think I dropped a couple pounds in the last couple of days.
Yeah.
I'll be interested to see how that goes throughout the weekend. But, you know, if 8.4 isn't just water weight and there is some actual body mass in there, yeah, I'm hoping by the end of the month and then within the next 2 weeks, if I can drop another 8, which I think is going to be a little excessive just because it's not supposed to come off that quick.
Yeah.
16 pounds in the first month is a nice starting point.
Well, also, if you think about it as percentage body weight,
Yeah.
because we're both starting out at such a high number,
Right.
that, you know, for you to lose 4 pounds in a week would be like a quote-unquote normal person dropping 2 pounds.
Right. I mean, you're only talking about like, what, 1.2% of my body weight?
Yeah, you're not talking like, you know, it would be one thing if, you know, someone that weighed 150 pounds lost 8 pounds in 2 weeks. Like, you probably want to look at that, like, with some concern.
Yeah.
Plus, if you weigh 150 pounds, what the F are you dieting for?
Right.
F you. I just want to lose 10 pounds. Yeah, screw you. I lose 10 pounds every morning.
Right. So I guess my short-term goals in the first like 3 months of this, if I can lose 15 in the first month and 10 in months 2 and 3, that's 35 pounds.
Yeah.
That is 10% of my body weight right there. That's a great start in my opinion.
Yeah. No, it is.
And that'll be plenty of motivation to keep not eating the bread. For me to be like, fuck it. I just can't eat this bread.
Yeah.
This bread is what's making me fat.
Yeah.
You know, or whatever it is, or whatever these carbs are. My body isn't made to eat them. And that's a realization that I just got to come to. Be like, look, do you want to eat that bread and die in 10 years or 5 years?
Yeah.
Or do you want to not eat that bread and maybe live for 20, 25 years? Not that tomorrow's given, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
but you don't want to, like, sabotage yourself and, like, take tomorrow away from you by being a, you know.
By being a dumbass.
Yeah.
Right, no. And it's not like I can't have carbs.
Yeah. And
I just got to make sure I don't eat a ton of them.
Yeah. So one of the few times I was successful in trying to lose weight, what I was considering, and I hate, first of all, take the word diet out of your mouth.
Right.
It's however you want to do it, lifestyle, nutrition, whatever. You like to eat bread and starchy foods, as do I. Like, the first day I started this was the pizza special night. And 2 gorgeous pizzas walked into my house. Being carried by a gorgeous woman.
Yeah, well.
So, like...
Let's make sure you get that in.
Yeah. So, there's... And I'm like, nope, not doing it. I had Monday night... Actually, I made myself a steak. So, I was good. But it was a small steak. It's... you ever see it? It's called... It's a chuck eye steak. They're cheap. They call it poor man's ribeye. It's real tender, real flavorful, good. But it's cheap. So that I had that and asparagus, and but the thing is don't tell yourself, oh, I can't eat bread anymore. You're just choosing not to eat bread,
right?
And if you think of it that way, as you're choosing not to do something, well, that means that you could choose to do it tomorrow.
Right.
You're just not choosing to do it. And maybe tomorrow you will choose to do it. Then you get up tomorrow and say, nah, I'm choosing not to eat. I'm choosing not to eat this garbage.
Yep.
You can eat it whatever you want. You're just choosing not to. And it makes it a little more easier than saying, I can't eat that.
Yeah.
You know, my diet won't let me eat that.
Yeah. And like I said before, now granted, we're only 2 weeks into this, or at least I'm only 2 weeks in. I do feel like that switch has been flipped in my brain.
Yeah.
Where I know I'm not supposed to have the bread. And I don't want to have the bread. Mm-hmm. Like, do I desire it? Yes. But my brain is saying, it's not worth it to eat it.
Right.
Like, the decision had like the brain has made the decision of we're doing this.
Yeah.
Now, am I going to have a day where I have a slice of pizza? Probably.
Yeah.
At some point, sure.
And you know what? That slice of pizza is not going to kill you.
I mean, I as long as it doesn't turn into White Goodman from Dodgeball at the end of the movie, where he eats an entire pizza, a whole bucket of chicken wings or chicken from KFC. It just goes off the rails and turns into a big old huge slob.
Oh, I can crush a pizza.
Yeah,
Like,
I can too.
A large pizza, non-factor. I wish there was someone that would bet me. I bet you $20 you can eat that pizza. Pfft, give me the money. Like, we're on. Like, and it's not even because I want the money. Like, I'm going to stuff it down. Like, I could eat it and then think, what else is there around here?
Right.
Like, I love pizza. In fact, I could probably eat, if health and fitness and all that was not a consideration, and I had only one food to eat for the rest of my life, I'd pick pizza. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
I agree.
So, the thing is, though, you eat one slice of pizza, well, it's better than eating my normal serving of pizza. So we're a solid 2 pizza family. I got 3 boys. But I would eat 4 slices minimum. Probably 5 or 6 in the actual mealtime. And then later on when the Caps are on or it's a football game, grab 2 more. So I ate a whole pizza. So if you eat 1, well, that's a lot better than eating 8. And if you do eat 8, it doesn't sabotage everything you've done. You're like, oh, well, I might as well quit now.
Right now, tomorrow
you had a bad game.
Tomorrow you got to jump back on that wagon, and hope you don't put yourself down that slippery slope of that mental game.
Yeah,
where you're like, well, I just screwed it all up. It's all done.
Yeah, I might as well quit now.
Right.
So.
I got to make sure that when that screw up happens, not to sabotage the whole thing.
Yeah,
and I mean, luckily, I don't think that'll happen at this point because at this, like I said, something has switched. A light switch is turned on. Hopefully, now, like I said, though, it's only been 2 weeks. Everything's easy in the first 2 weeks. We'll see what happens in the next 2 weeks, and the 2 after that. But I mean, I think if I'm hoping that there's the weight loss that happens in the next 2 weeks. That's like, okay, this works. There is success here. Mm-hmm. Success begets more success.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not saying I won't screw up and do some stupid stuff, but I'll be like, okay, I know this works. And you're not starving yourself.
Yeah.
You just got to change what you eat. And my doctor actually told me about a book called Nature Wants Us to Be Fat. Mm-hmm. I still have to read it, but essentially it's like, it's about what you're talking about. The stuff that, the food industry and everything else tells us that we should be putting in our body.
Yeah.
Is a bunch of bullshit.
Uh-huh.
It's like, you got to look at them as like they're big pharma.
Yep.
They're trying to get you to put all this shit in your body, all these drugs that you don't even know you didn't even know you needed until you saw a commercial and you went to your doctor and asked for it.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden now you're on a pill you don't need.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Just, it's another industry telling you that you needed something in your body and you don't need it. Mm-hmm. And the food industry is no different.
So I'm keeping a journal of everything I'm doing, and it's a food journal, and then I write some notes, and so it's like a mix between a food diary and then like a journal. And so the first day, day 2. The first day I wrote no sugar. The second day I wrote fuck their bullshit poison. Mm-hmm. And that's what it is. It's not even food. And we've gone over this before.
Yep.
Like my sister, she's funny. She says that American cheese is one polymer away from being plastic. I mean, you melt it, and then it like you can mold it. If you had a machine that could press it back into that sheet of whatever the hell that is,
right?
But yeah, it's poison.
And then the next thing, once I can get myself sorted out and my wife sorted out, well, she's doing better than I am. But once we get ourselves sorted out, next we got to go to our kids.
Yeah, well, and I look at like my 3 boys are taking their nutrition cues from me and my wife.
Yeah.
My oldest is rail thin. My middle son, though, he unfortunately inherited my exact body type.
Right.
And my youngest, I think he's like a hybrid.
Right.
But I grew up as the fat kid. I don't want him getting picked on like I got picked on.
Right. Me too.
So if I can, and it's now being big is easier for boys than it is for girls. Because at some point, all the boys want to be the big dude. The girls never want to be the.
Right.
I want to be the big girl. Like
Right.
I don't think anybody ever goes through that.
You don't want to be the shot putter on the team.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So, but the kids are watching, and they're going to get their cues as to what to eat and how to treat themselves through what we do.
Yeah.
And how can I say, "Hey, kid, you're eating too much. I want you to be healthy." Meanwhile, while I'm inhaling oatmeal cream pies and popcorn.
Right.
It's like that stupid commercial back in the day when it was like the say no to drugs. Where'd you learn this? From you, Dad. I learned it from you.
Yeah.
So
one of the issues we're having with the kids now, like my older one, she eats fairly reasonably.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't eat a ton. Eats until she's hungry, and that's
Yeah.
it. Like today, like she ate a hot dog, didn't eat the whole bun. Not because she's seeing me, but because she didn't want. She wanted the bun to be the exact same size as the hot dog.
Good luck, kid.
So like the funny thing, I was like, but the length is the same. Yeah, but she goes, there's too much on top. So she like rips off the top of the bun. I don't know. I don't question it. But she eats her salad.
Yeah.
She'd rather have salad. And like, I'm worried that I'm gonna break her of habits that she's created that are good for her.
Yeah.
Now my youngest sneaks candy, and we find out little by little. So today, like the older one looked in her Halloween. They still have Halloween candy, so she has her Halloween candy bucket, and she starts digging in it, and she's pulling out empty wrappers. And she's like, "Who ate this?" And of course, the little one doesn't want to fess up, but she ends up fessing up.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of candy that she took and ate. And like we're talking like full-sized Twix, fun-sized everything. Like it was probably about 15 to 20 pieces of candy, and we don't know over which time she did it, but that's a real bad habit of sneaking food.
Yeah.
And junk food, no less. And she loves to snack. Like when she comes home from school, she wants the snacks and the snacks and the snacks.
That's my middle.
But the weird thing is though, at night when it's time for dinner, she'll eat chicken, she'll eat salad, she'll love salad, she'll eat raw veggies. So if you were to see her at dinner time, you would think she eats healthy.
Yeah.
But what we don't see is when she comes home from school, she's sneaking all this food. And so it's like, how do we break that habit without shaming her for doing it?
Yeah.
And so what we're trying right now is we told her that she doesn't get dessert until Valentine's Day.
Okay.
So 35 days, no candy.
Okay.
Now, that doesn't mean if we go over to Froyo, she can have Froyo but no toppings.
Yeah.
Now, I think we probably should have just said no dessert or whatever.
Yeah.
But again, I'm not an expert in this. I don't know how to break this habit. By the way, if you're out there and you are an expert in this, please let me know how to break this habit. But
that's the thing. Like, I don't want to give your kids, I don't want to give a kid have them have issues with food, because then when they grow up and they're away from you,
right,
all that suppressed everything comes roaring back. They go to college or wherever,
and someone said like if you can get a kid through I think like 21 or 22 without being a big child, it's much easier if they do put on weight after that age. It's much easier for them to lose it.
Oh yeah,
than it would be if they were a hefty child in their teens.
Yeah, another issue to consider, and this is more so with, I'm not sure how it affects girls, but with boys, if they go into puberty obese, it changes the way, first of all, they hit puberty earlier, and then they don't develop the way they should. So it's better for them to hit it. No, they don't have to be like studs, you know, but it's better for them. Now my oldest, he eats like he has junk and stuff, but he's so active, just running around everywhere, but he's starting to fill out.
Yeah,
because he's going to be 11, so he's starting to fill out a little bit, and he's eating more. But he only wants to eat good stuff. The kid does not. He never wants soda. He only wants to drink water or milk. He doesn't drink milk. It's always water with him.
yeah,
It's funny how kids raised in the same house from the same parents are just completely different.
right.
So I'm not too worried about him, but my middle, yeah, I'm kind of worried about. And then the little one, he just wants to eat cereal. He eats cereal 3 meals a day.
Yeah,
Or whatever I'm eating, because he's like my shadow.
right.
So,
Well, hopefully this update was good for everyone to hear. We'll try and do another update in 2 weeks. Haven't decided whether we're going to put an episode next week, but we'll figure it out. It won't be a weight loss episode though. We figure every 2 weeks we'll do the weight loss updates. But we appreciate you stopping by. Please like, subscribe, comment, share. Definitely comment, subscribe, and yeah, like we've said before, share this with a friend. Send them to the website. It's really easy to click on the buttons to subscribe or find our podcast on any of the podcast platforms if you just click on the buttons on the subscribe page. So hopefully you're enjoying the show, and we will see you next time.